lot of luck that I'm still here. And yet, if I'd had my way, I'd have been at the bottom of the ocean today.
You think back and think, well, I could have been there, you know. It's the luck of the draw.
I lost a lot of mates, of course, because I'd served on that ship for about 9 months or so, and there were a lot of Western Australians on board.
It's been a long 67 years for the former sailors who served on board HMAS Sydney before she sank in 1941. Jim Lavender, who now lives in Bustleton, served on board the Sydney for 3 years. He was drafted off the ship just 2 months before she sank to the bottom of the ocean off our mid-west coast.
You never forget it. You get on with your life, but every now and again it just crops up. You start thinking about it and wondering what really happened to them, where they were, and that was the problem, I think. If you only knew where they were, you'd be satisfied.
The impact of HMAS Sydney's sinking was felt right across Australia. Jim was on a train to Brisbane to commission another ship when he heard every single one of his mates from the Sydney had been killed at sea, defeated by the German raider Cormoran.
A girl was sitting in the compartment having a cry, and I said to a chap, I said, what's wrong with the girl, young girl in there crying? He said, her brother's been killed in the Sydney. That's how I found out.
How did it feel when you heard about the fate of HMAS Sydney?
I was very sad about it. I had a lot of friends, and it was hard to believe that that it happened, and I wished I was with them at the time. That's how I felt, that I should have been there with them.
Jim says knowing where his mates went down has finally given him a sense of closure.
It is a relief that they know where it is. That's the big thing, just to know that the ship was just, you could say, well, it's there. That's the point. Nobody knew before, but now they do know, and everybody's happy about it.
Underwater pictures of the shipwreck show the condition the Sydney was in when she sank after a fierce gun battle.
It's astounding, if people could see it, what it was like down there. The pinnace that I used to coxswain, a big workboat, it is the rudder, and that's still there, like I could grab hold of it and steer it still.
The 67th anniversary of the sinking of HMAS Sydney on Wednesday will be especially significant. It's the first anniversary since the Sydney was discovered at the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Geraldton 7 months ago. The remains of an unknown sailor historians believe served on HMAS Sydney will be reburied at Geraldton's War Cemetery. The adult man's remains were found in a lifeboat off Christmas Island in 1941, about 2,500 kilometres from where the Sydney went down. The remains were buried on Christmas Island and exhumed by archaeologists 2 years ago. They found a 9mm bullet or fragment of shell in the man's skull. DNA researchers are trying to identify the remains. This Wednesday, more than 2,000 people will honour the mystery sailor, HMAS Sydney, and the rest of her crew.
I really miss them when you go up to Geraldton and see the monument, their names, that bring back memories, you know.
It's a wonderful tribute, and well, I hope that people will treasure it. I certainly will.
For the sailors whose fate it was to leave the ship before it sank, the ceremony will be an emotional farewell.
It'll be a fitting goodbye, I think, to one of the crew. So it'll be really, it could be sad, but it'll be really good, I think, to say finally goodbye. Yeah.